Okay. Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Coffee with Father James. I'm once again, I'm not back in the church, I'm still in the church, but don't tell anyone that. And I'm drinking from a different coffee mug, this time the Our Lady of Guadalupe coffee mug that I have in my office. And I want to talk to you about Lent. That's right. Some of you may be watching this video the day before Lent, the evening before Lent, on what's known as Fat Tuesday or Pancake Tuesday or Mardi Gras. Whatever you call it, the day before Lent is kind of like a day traditionally where you ate up all of the goodies that you had in your cupboard or your fridge or your pantry so that the fasting can begin, because Ash Wednesday is a day of fasting and abstinence, the first day of the 40 days of Lent. And it's a day when we're invited to have one major meal and the rest of the day, and to avoid meat. That's the fasting the church on those days strongly recommends for us. Fasting is one of the disciplines of Lent that Jesus talks about. In the Gospel on Ash Wednesday, we heard of the three disciplines of fasting, of almsgiving, and of prayer. And Jesus also, in talking about fasting, talked about when you fast. He didn't say if you fast. So fasting is still very much a part of our Christian experience. Although in many ways, as I mentioned in my homily this past weekend, fasting sometimes can be a bit trivialized, or it can be done in isolation of a greater spiritual awareness, perhaps. This past Sunday, if you didn't get a chance to see my homily because we had this huge blizzard, please check it out on our YouTube channel. There'll be a link to it in the notes of the video today. But the key point that I made rather was, for God's sake, for the love of God, literally, don't just make your Lent about chocolate. Don't make fasting stand all by itself, as if fasting without deepening our prayer life or seeking to grow spiritually is really going to make that much of a difference. By all means fast, by all means give up chocolate, but let's use this Lenten period, this period of renewal, for something greater. Now I have some notes on my iPad here. I'm just going to lean forward. So we have Ash Wednesday. We've got the three masses, 9 a.m., 4 p.m., and 7 p.m. And throughout the weeks of Lent, with the exception of Palm Sunday or Passion Sunday, we will be having a preaching series. And the title of that preaching series is Lent in a Time of Less. So we've gone through the scripture readings for the season of Lent and tried to kind of discern a pattern of a theme that we could preach on in light of the state of world events and what's happening in the world. There's in Canadian culture anyway, the cost of living has gone up. There's a real awareness of people having less than they had before. And there's, I think, a sense of anxiety has gripped us with a lot of international events and the news that we're reading. So Lent, it's not a Lent like perhaps any other that we've gone through before. So that's going to be the basis of the preaching series that we have throughout the season of Lent. Also, I want to mention the parish mission that is coming up. It's going to be on the 25th, 27th of February. That's on the Sunday night, Monday night, and Tuesday night. I'm going to say more about the parish mission, give you much more detail about it next week in the coffee video next week. So parish mission, I think, is going to be an amazing experience. It's like a parish retreat, and Bishop Scott McCaig is going to be our retreat director, and I think there's going to be an incredible grace there for each and every single one of us. Finally, as mentioned in the homily this weekend, is Lenten small groups. This is an initiative that the Archbishop has asked us to invite parishioners to get involved with, specifically during the Lenten period. We've been having many opportunities to experience small groups, for parishioners to gather together for quite a while now, but we are adding a few other opportunities during the Lenten season. And as I mentioned this past weekend in the homily, we practically have opportunities to get involved in small faith groups, faith sharing groups, almost every single day of the week. We have groups that meet on Monday nights, and we have Tuesday morning groups. Check out the website. We've got stuff, I think, for every schedule and even for every age group, opportunities for people to get involved. So all that to be said, that Lent, which we're about to enter into or we've just entered into, is upon us. Let's not make it just about giving up chocolate. Let's seek the renewal that the Lord wants for our church, for our parish, and for each of us personally. Thanks, and God bless.